Hello and welcome everyone. This is Type V3 with a Gunpla review of the 1 to 1/44th scale, high-grade Gundam Leopard da Vinci, the Team G Master mobile suit piloted by Akira Suga in Build Fighters Try, and easily the best worst pun ever associated with a Gundam. The contents of this high-grade box reveal a total of 9 parts. There's 7 main plastic runners, a medium set of polycaps, and a small foil sticker sheet. Considering that there isn't a huge amount of plastic involved, and that a third of it is dedicated to the weapons, you'd be right to expect that the build of the core robot is quite minimalistic in design. It's fairly uncomplicated and unspectacular in every respect, though this does make it a quick, pain-free experience too. The only thing I'd recommend is to exercise caution when cutting out the green parts. There are a couple of spots of unfortunate gate placement that will lead to awful nub marks if you're not careful. With the basic assembly completed, you're left with a fantastic representation of the Leopard da Vinci. At a quick glance, nothing appears to be missing in terms of its design and detail. Proportions seem appropriate, and the colors, along with the part separation, are more than adequate for an HG kit. Stickers are an interesting affair. For the body, you get small black squares for the chest, along with a huge red circle for the center of the torso. The latter is sort of a take-it-or-leave-it situation. For the head sculpt, there's eye stickers along with front and rear cameras, as well as the gray sections on the lower sides of the head. I was surprised at how well these worked out. Seam lines are very minimal on this Gundam too, with the inner forearms and shoulder pads being the only spots worth tackling. Overall, I was impressed with the straight build presentation of the Leopard da Vinci. When it comes to getting this kit up to matching the look of its on-screen counterpart, there isn't much to do. Obvious panel lining opportunities exist, however, besides filling in the mouthplate slots, I think the sculpted details are bold enough on this kit that you could get away with not panel lining at all. I do suggest filling in many of the gray vented areas with black paint. It just helps the visuals pop a bit more. It's probably worth painting in the red circle rather than using the sticker too. That said, I'm perfectly happy with the way it is. Finally, it's worth touching up the weapons in any way possible. Because they're so huge, their dull gray plastic tends to be emphasized that much more. For size, the Leopard da Vinci stands at just over the 5-inch mark. This tends to line up with most high grades in the Build Fighters lineup. The head is connected on a standard high-grade polycap, so there is a ball joint here at the top and then one inside of the torso. Together they give you pretty good range of motion, nothing is really restricted or impeded, so it works out. There is a polycap in the mid-torso, one in the waist. You do get a waist swivel, and the ab crunch is decent. It's about the average range for a high-grade ab crunch, nothing too spectacular. The arms are connected on polycaps, but unlike most high grades, instead of swinging forward, these are connected backwards so they swing backwards and outwards, and we'll touch upon why this is later. It's just a ball joint, pretty simple. This piece here, this hard point, can be swiveled up on its own. There is a hinge in the shoulder to go outwards. You do have a bicep rotation, double joints at the elbow, pretty awesome range. And for the wrist, I was surprised to see that he gets both a ball joint at the wrist, but it's connected on a hinge, so you can get those pretty sweet movements with the wrist right here. Front skirts are on ball joints. These just go forwards, pretty simple. They are connected when you first assemble, but you can cut them. The outward ones are on a hinge, and these swivel backwards, with the back plate being completely solid. Now, the hips themselves are connected on a bar that's straight across, so they move together up and down, just to give you a bit more motion in that sense. They are universal joints. Forward is great. Outwards is awesome. You do have a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. Very good double jointed knees. The top of the ankle here is on a hinge. It's a forward hinge. The ankle armor is on a ball joint that has a little bit of wiggle. And then, of course, you have a ball joint that connects the rest of the foot. This gives you pretty good ankle tilts. Pivot is good. Side to side is good also. Moving back up to the top, these missile pods are just connected on simple swivel points, so they just go back and forth like that. Pretty simple, nothing spectacular. The doors do open up to reveal the missiles themselves, and they open up on the back side too. On the other end is this Hyper Beam Gatling gun, and this is pretty simple. It just connects on this arm here with multiple articulated points, and this is why this arm swings out backwards. It's because here, what you do is you just push in, you pull out the handle, and then you can set this up outwards, and these backward connected polycap lets it so that the arm can be connected properly, just like that. With its simple design, the Leopard da Vinci boasts great articulation that's only bested by the pure melee-focused high-grade kits. This kit doesn't include any extra pairs of hands, though it makes up for that with its weapons. First up is the beam rifle. It's a cool design, especially with that shotgun attachment, and the orange sticker used for the lens is a nice touch. The Gundam also has no issues wielding it. I've already highlighted how the Hyper Beam Gatling gun and the missile pod works, but if you're not a fan of the asymmetrical look, a second piece for each is included to fill out the opposite side. Lastly, the kit includes 2 beam cannon pieces which can be attached to the hardpoints on the Gundam's legs or exchanged with the missile pods. All these weapons should satisfy those who are fans of the heavy armament look. On the face of it, the Leopard da Vinci isn't a special Gundam in any way. Sure, it looks great, or at least it looks accurate against the animation line art. Still, I wouldn't describe this as a head-turner on the shelf. The build process is simple and easy too, making this a good entry point for beginners. There's also an abundance of weapons, and I like their free range of placement, although they aren't the most interesting accessories to be honest. So what am I getting at? Well, it's certainly not a bad kit. In fact, I think it's quite good. I just don't think it's anything beyond that. With the other Build Fighter high grades, be it good or bad, they all carried a specialness to them that I found endearing. This kit lacks that, and personally, it disappoints me. It's still a very solid model, and one that's very playable too. Yet, the 1/144th scale HG Leopard da Vinci is the first release under the Build Fighters banner that I found to be completely forgettable. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching, and with the Leopard out of the way, let's move on to bigger prey, because I hear a blue giant will soon enter the fray.